But our source says it's actually, well, incredibly powerful.
Small talk.
Exactly. Mastering small talk, specifically in English.
That's right. We're mainly digging into these excerpts called Mastering Small Talk, Effortless English Conversations. It's by someone known as Teacher Sam, and it's just packed with what the author calls secrets for making these casual chats feel, easy. Effortless, not awkward.
Right. So our mission here is to really unpack these secrets, understand the how, sure, the techniques Teacher Sam lays out.
But also the why.
Exactly. Why is this skill so potent? What are the maybe surprising benefits you get when you actually get good at this?
And the source does promise some pretty big benefits, along with the practical tips. So yeah, let's dive in.
Okay, first things first. How does the source actually define small talk? What is it?
Well, it's defined as that casual, friendly chat you have. Could be with someone you just met, could be someone you know well.
Like the basics.
Yeah, the low-stakes stuff, greetings, comments on the weather, asking how was your weekend, that kind of thing. The initial friendly back and forth.
And Teacher Sam seems pretty insistent that this small talk isn't small at all in impact, right?
Yeah.
What's the big deal? Why is it important?
The material really hammers this home. It's the gateway. It opens doors.
Okay.
It's how you first connect with people. And the source claims that getting comfortable with it can actually change how you feel about conversations overall, make them less scary.
So it's the starting point for, well, anything bigger.
Pretty much. Building any kind of relationship or rapport.
Okay, so small talk is the door. How do you even start opening it? Teacher Sam's first secret sounds foundational. Smile and start simple.
Yeah, this is presented as the absolute bedrock. It literally starts with a smile. The source points out, look, a smile is universal. It signals friendliness. People just respond to that instinctively. It, disarms them.
And the start simple part, what does that actually look like?
It just means using those really common, easy phrases, things you probably already know, like, hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. Maybe, how's your day going? The source really stresses you don't need some brilliant, witty opening line or perfect grammar right off the bat.
So it sounds like the real point of these simple phrases, plus the smile, isn't deep talk. It's just creating an opening.
Precisely. They're the invitation. They signal you're open to connecting. You don't need to be funny or clever, just, present and friendly.
And there's a practical tip suggested here too, right?
Yes. To get comfortable, actually practice these simple phrases out loud every day.
Out loud.
Yeah, the source even suggests, in front of a mirror, just getting the words to feel natural coming out of your mouth.
And what's the payoff for starting this way? Simple, friendly.
The material says it helps you stop overthinking, Instead of getting stuck in your head worrying about the perfect thing to say.
You just connect.
Right. It makes those first moments easier. And the source says, maybe even fun.
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Okay, door opened. Smile, simple hello. How do you invite someone in for more? This seems to lead right into secret #2. Ask open-ended questions.
Right. This taps into something pretty basic about people.
Yeah.
We generally like talking about ourselves.
True.
So the trick is asking questions that let people do that instead of questions that just get a one-word answer and shut things down.
Avoiding those conversation killers.
Exactly. The source contrasts say, did you have a good weekend? Which gets a yes or no.
Right. Dead end.
With something like, what did you do over the weekend? The second one invites a story, more detail. It encourages sharing.
Open-ended questions are key. What are some examples the source gives? Good go-to ones.
Well, they suggest things like, what kind of movies do you like? Or how did you get into your job? Maybe, what's your favorite place to travel? See how none of those can really be answered with just yes or no.
Yeah, they require more thought. And there's a strategy mentioned too, a genius hack.
Yeah. The material suggests having maybe 5 go-to open-ended questions ready, almost like having a few conversation starters locked and loaded in your back pocket.
Why does asking these kinds of questions work so well, according to the source?
Because it kind of puts the other person in the driver's seat, but in a good way. It encourages them to share. And that just makes the conversation flow much more naturally. You're not fighting to fill silence. You're creating space for them.
But asking questions is only, half the battle, right?
Yeah.
Teacher Sam apparently calls secret #3 HUGE, which is practice the art of listening.
Oh, yeah. This point gets a lot of emphasis in the source. It points out a really common problem.
No.
Most people aren't truly listening.
They're just waiting for their turn.
Exactly. They're thinking about what they're going to say next, not really absorbing what the other person is saying.
So how does the material suggest you actually listen in these casual chats? What are the practical things to do?
The tips are pretty straightforward but powerful. Nod your head. Show you're engaged. Make eye contact. Smile when it's appropriate.
Okay.
And crucially, repeat a few key words back. It shows you've actually heard and processed what they said.
Like the example they used.
Right. Someone says, I just got back from Italy, instead of just saying, oh, cool, and moving on.
You engage with it.
Yeah. You say something like, oh, wow, Italy, that sounds amazing. You reflect it back, show genuine interest.
And the impact of being a good listener during small talk,
Yeah.
what does that achieve?
The source says it makes people feel valued, heard.
Mm-hmm.
They enjoy talking to you more. And this is key. It makes you unforgettable. You stand out because you made them feel important.
That makes perfect sense. People definitely remember how you make them feel. Okay, building on that connection. Secret hashtag 4 is about connecting on a more subtle level. Mirror their energy.
Yeah, this is interesting. It's about observing the other person's mood. Are they excited, calm, kind of serious? And then subtly adjusting your own vibe, your demeanor, to sort of match theirs.
So if they're relaxed, you stay calm, you don't bounce off the walls. If they're laughing, you lean into that lightness.
Exactly that. It's about creating this feeling of being on the same wavelength.
Why does that work?
The source suggests the subtle mirroring helps build trust. Subconsciously, the other person feels like you get them, like you're similar.
And the real-world result of doing this?
You become someone people just feel comfortable around pretty quickly. They enjoy being near you, feel a sense of rapport, even if you just met.
Okay, so we've got the foundation. Smile.
Yeah.
Supple start. Getting them talking. Open questions. Making them feel heard. Listening. Building rapport. Mirroring. What about just, kicking things off? Secret. Hashtag 5 gives specific tools. Learn the small talk starters.
Right. These are specific phrases designed purely to break the ice, to get the ball rolling effectively. They give you an in.
What kind of phrases are we talking about? Examples.
Well, the source gives examples like noticing something specific. That's a great shirt. Where did you get it? Or asking about them. I love your accent. Where are you from?
Or the situation.
Yeah, or referencing where you are. This place is nice. Have you been here before?
So these aren't just random questions. They're tied to the context or something you observed. Gives you something real to talk about.
Exactly. They give you a hook. And the action step here, according to Teacher Sam, memorize about 10 of these starters.
10.
Yeah. And then commit to using one every single day for a week.
The idea being, I guess, that they stop feeling memorized?
Precisely. The more you use them, the less they feel like lines you learned, and the more they just become natural ways you start chatting with people.
Now, the source also mentions tailoring phrases, which feels related. Secret hashtag 8 talks about learning key phrases for different situations.
Yes, because small talk isn't one size fits all, right?
Yeah.
Having language specific to the context makes interactions feel smoother, more relevant.
Small talk at work is different than with a neighbor.
Totally.
So what are some examples the material gives for these different contexts?
Sure. For work, it might be, how's your project going? Or have you got much on today? Simple stuff.
Okay.
At school, maybe, how did the test go? Or are you in any clubs? With neighbors, it could be the classic, lovely weather today, isn't it? Or have you lived here long?
So the task for you, the listener, is to think about your common situations.
Exactly. The source says, make a list of phrases that would be useful in your daily life. The places you go, the people you interact with.
And then the key is,
Use them. Use them often.
which, just like the starters, makes them feel natural over time.
That's the whole idea. They become part of your everyday conversational toolkit.
Okay, so started the chat, asked good questions, listened well, built rapport, used the right phrases for the setting. What about managing the conversation itself? Secret, hashtag 9. Let conversations flow naturally.
This one's about letting go a bit. Not trying to control every single moment or know exactly where the conversation's headed. Embracing a bit of spontaneity.
How do you actively do that, though?
It really loops back to the listening and responding. Listen to what they say. Genuinely respond to that. Maybe add a relevant thought or experience of your own. Then ask another question based on what they just shared. It's a dynamic give and take.
Like the example flow they used in the source.
Yeah, exactly. It shows it clearly. You ask, what do you do for fun? They say, I like cooking, instead of just saying, oh, nice, and changing topic.
You follow that thread.
Right. You engage. Nice. What kind of food do you love making? You follow the path they opened up.
And the benefit of letting it happen organically like that.
The source really emphasizes this. That's how you build real connection. It stops being a performance and starts being an authentic interaction. That's the core power, the source argues. Small talk building actual bridges.
Now, obviously, none of these skills just appear overnight. Secret #6 really hammers this point. Practice every single day.
Yeah, this is presented as, like, non-negotiable. Small talk is a skill, like driving, like swimming, like playing guitar.
You only get better by doing it.
Exactly. Reading about it helps, but you have to do it consistently.
And the source gives plenty of ideas for where you can practice, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Use those everyday opportunities. Customer service calls, chatting with the cashier at the grocery store, brief interactions at work or school.
Even online.
Yeah, even engaging in online communities where you have short exchanges, anywhere you interact with people.
And there's a direct challenge in there, too.
Yes, the material challenges you. Try to speak to 3 new people this week.
Wow, okay.
But it says start small, just say hello. Ask one simple question. And then importantly, celebrate those small wins. Every little interaction is practice.
And for anyone listening who's learning English, there's often this big fear. The elephant in the room. Teacher Sam addresses it directly in Secret #7, except that mistakes are normal.
Oh, this is huge. Presented as a massive relief and a really crucial mindset shift.
What's the core message?
The source is emphatic. Perfect grammar is not required for good small talk. Full stop.
Really?
Yeah. It points out native speakers make mistakes all the time.
So if perfect grammar isn't the goal, what is important?
Your energy, your smile, your willingness to just try, to make the effort. Those things communicate friendliness and openness way more effectively than perfect grammar ever could.
The source has a nice way to think about it, an analogy.
Yes, view small talk like learning to dance, not like studying for a grammar exam.
Okay.
It's about finding a rhythm, connecting with your partner, not about following rigid rules perfectly every single time.
So the real truth is?
Confidence. According to the source, confidence is ultimately way more powerful than perfect grammar when it comes to making a good impression and connecting in these casual moments.
Okay. So we've unpacked these, 9 secrets?
Right.
Smile, start simple, open questions, deep listening, mirror energy, use starters, use context phrases, practice daily, accept mistakes, let it flow. Teacher Sam then outlines some pretty amazing benefits that come from actually mastering this skill.
Yeah, the material really makes a strong case that getting good at small talk can be, well, transformative. First off, making new friends.
Right.
Feeling more connected, less lonely. Your social confidence just naturally goes up.
And professionally. Huge impact there, too.
Absolutely. Small talk is critical for networking, for building trust with colleagues, with clients, just for getting noticed in a good way at work. It's a massive part of professional presence.
And for English learners specifically, there's that deeper benefit, feeling truly at home in the language.
Yes. It stops being just a subject you study and starts being a tool you use to connect. You stop overthinking every word.
And you just start living in English.
Exactly. Using it to build relationships, find opportunities.
Which connects to the personal growth side of things.
Yeah. With every successful chat, your personal confidence just grows. The source uses great language here, says you'll walk taller, speak louder, smile wider.
And ultimately, the source claims mastering small talk actually creates opportunities.
For sure. You end up meeting people you just wouldn't have otherwise. A simple, casual chat could genuinely lead to a new job lead, spark a business idea, introduce you to a lifelong friend. It opens doors you didn't even know were there.
The source wraps up with a really motivating message about just getting started.
It really circles back to that. You don't have to stay quiet. You don't need to feel like you have to be perfect before you even try.
Just take the first step.
Right. The most important thing is just taking action. Starting.
And it totally reframes the whole idea of small talk, doesn't it?
Yeah, it powerfully argues it's anything but small. It calls it the start of everything big. Your deeper relationships, your career moves, your confidence journey, even chasing your dreams.
And the material reminds you, the listener, that the power to connect like this, it's already inside you.
It really emphasizes that. You have the innate ability to connect. Mastering small talk just gives you the tools and the confidence to do it well. Takes practice, sure, patience, heart, but the ability is there.
It reinforces that idea, you're learning English not just for a test.
But to live a bigger, bolder life, to fully engage.
So looking back at everything we've covered from Teacher Sam's material, the core idea seems really clear. Small talk isn't just empty chat. It's a foundational skill, it's learnable, and it has huge potential benefits.
Yeah, and it's built on relatively simple, actionable steps. Smiling, listening properly, asking good questions, practicing.
Right.
And these secrets we discussed offer a pretty compelling roadmap, don't they? They reframe these casual chats from something maybe scary into actual tools. Tools for connection, confidence, creating new chances in English.
Which leaves us and you with a final thought to maybe chew on this week. If, like this material suggests, just saying hello really is the start of everything big, what opportunities might be waiting just on the other side of your next simple conversation? How could consciously trying just one of these secrets we talked about today actually change how your interactions go this week